Today we'll be doing Chemistry Paper 2 Multiple Choice question, February March 2022. So this is the variant 22, which is the extended paper. So we have total of 40 questions. My name is Jamie. Let's start. First question, you can see they are asking for substance M. They are a solid at 30 Celsius. So whenever you see any question, first thing I want you to label them. Where is 30 Celsius? I think it's around here, right? So all the way from 30 Celsius to this point, this is a solid, correct? You can see if I am heating them, this is solid heating, right? But this graph is a cooling curve, so it's a solid cooling, am I right? So what happened to this substance? They heat to 80 Celsius. Heated all the way up to 80 Celsius. So when this is a solid, this should be a solid liquid changing state, which is either they are melting or freezing. Depends on you gain heat or lose heat. When you're freezing, you are closely packed, right? So together we are losing heat. Today, I want to melt them. I want to be more further apart. So they are gaining heat. So for this part, as you can see, since this part, they should be a liquid heating. If you see here, they are 80. Don't get worried. They are not just like stop here. If they are higher boiling point, they should be able to go further up. Okay, so it's because of this graph, because they only heat to 80 Celsius. Okay, then they are cooled down to room temperature. So when they are in room temperature, can you see they are a straight line here? Room temperature is 24. That's the reason why this is a straight line. A lot of students of mine will thought that this straight line is because change of state. No. Why? Because this is a room temperature. Meaning to say, if I put them in a freezer, they will further go down, supposedly. You get what I mean? So, they ask you which part is freezing. Actually, you can see my answer already told you here. Right? So, the freezing means that is the QR. Understand? So why is it QR? Because this is already solid. It can't be ST. A lot of students will make a mistake, thought that, oh, this is ST. No, why? I'm already solid. There's no way I further freeze myself, right? So this is already a solid. So this is not a freezing point. Always keep in your mind, when I am changing state, I never increase or decrease in temperature. So I never change temperature. Okay? So if I never change the temperature, then why this is not the answer? It's because this is the room temperature. So that's why they don't further decrease. So basically, changing state, you have like boiling, or like condensing, melting, or freezing. Why they don't change temperature is because all energy used to break the bond, or not necessarily break. It can be form the bond also. Okay? So let's see the next question. Whenever I want to know about the fastest rate of diffusion, this is also one of the very famous questions. Look at my molecular mass. So, argon, initially I would thought that is argon because they are one and only, right? But let's see, argon is actually our Group 8, the third element in Group 8. Argon MR is 40 grams, which is kind of heavy. Carbon is in our Group 4, and they are 12 grams. So it's like 2 times 12 with 6 grams. Okay, so basically I will get around a 30 gram. Okay, why 6 grams? Because hydrogen is 1 gram, right? So this is 1 gram add with 35.5 gram. 36.5 grams. It's kind of heavy too, right? 2 gram add with my sulfur, which is 32 gram, it's 34 gram. So the lightest will be my fastest rate of diffusion. If they ask for the fastest, They ask for the heaviest. If they ask for the fastest, you always go for the lightest. Okay, the lightest MR. So if they ask for the slowest, it's always the heavy lah. Today, if you are fat, you can't run fast. Next question. Let's see here. For isotope. Whenever we see the word isotope, isotope means that same. Same what? Whenever you see the word iso, it means same. What is same? Same proton number, okay, and different neutron number. Okay, when your neutron number is different, eventually your nucleon also different. Understand? But whenever your proton number is the same, your electron number should be the same too. So I want you to keep in your mind, electron number can be changed. Depends on whether you are ions or you are atom, but proton never change. Proton is always like your IC, like your identification. So today you are proton of 1, you are always hydrogen. Okay? So their mass is different. They already told you, right? One is lighter, one is heavier. They all have the same neutron. Never. They should have the different. They can't be the same because you are having different mass. Okay, they will have the same chemical properties. How come? They are same element, right? If you are same element, you should be the same chemical properties. Even in the same group, we also say that they are similar chemical properties, right? So isotopes have different proton number. No way. They are the same element. They should have the same proton number. They have the same number of outer electrons, of course, because now we are talking about they are the atom. So when they are atom, they should have the same outer electrons because why? I told you, right? Proton number same, the electron number should be the same unless you are charged. Let's see the next question. Ionic bond. Every time if I see ionic bond, the first thing comes into my mind, ions. But what ions I have? Cations and ions, right? So cations is the positive one, and ion is the negative one. So whenever I want to form the ionic bond, meaning to say that they must be the positive ions and negative ions together. What do I mean by together? I will donate mine to you, you will accept mine. That is what I call as together. Okay? So bromine atoms, they will form negatively charged bromine atoms. Bromine ion. Exactly. This is the answer. Why? Bromine is Br. I want to be ions. I have to gain electrons. Why gain electron? They are in group 7. So when you gain 1 electron, you become Br negative. Okay, so if you don't understand, I'll explain slowly. Bromine, I have 35 electron. Actually, to make you understand better, you have a lot of shell, but the last shell is 7 electron. How do I know it's 7 electron? Because they are group 7, am I right or not? Group 7, right? So they will gain 1 electron. I always teach my student, electron is something very negative, so sad. So if you gain already, you become negative. Okay, you turn into a negative person. Okay, so like how? So it will be like your electron will now be 36. I will put a negative here because I want you to know they are negative. But proton never change, right? Proton remain 35. I'm a positive. That's why your overall charge will turn into -1. That's the reason why bromine is negative. If you ask me, it's so confusing. Why is it gain 1 electron? It's because whenever you are group 7, you have to imagine yourself. Is it easier for you to gain 1 more electron to achieve the octet, which is 8 electron at the outer shell, or to lose the 7? If today you already have 7 friends with you, you need to invite 1 more only, right? Not to ask all your 7 friends to go out, right? So yeah, that's the reason why they become gaining 1. Okay, why ionic bond is not between our group 7 periodic table? Because group 7, right, they are all non-metal. So ionic bond must be metal and non-metal. So today, if this is only non-metal, actually they are covalent bond. So this is not the answer. Positive ion forms when the atoms lose protons. This is confusing. Protons never change. So this is not the answer. And potassium iodide contains negatively charged potassium ions. No way. Potassium is group 1. Today, if your potassium is group 1, meaning to say that you have a few electrons, a lot of shells, and the last electron is 1. So it's definitely easier to lose 1 electron. Correct? So actually my proton number is positive 39. So electron, if I lose 1, I turn into negative 38. So the overall charge is positive 1. So if you find it difficult for you to memorize, don't worry, go to the periodic table. Every time you receive the paper, write it here. Whenever group 1, positive 1. Group 2, positive 2. Group 3, positive 3. Group 4, it can be positive or negative because it is sharing, right? Group 5, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0. That's why group 8 is forever the most stable. They won't react with others. Your reactivity depends on your ability to gain or lose electron. So if you are gaining 1, you should get negative. Losing 1, you should get positive. So once you draw this table, it's very easy. You don't have to always memorize them, because when you do the more familiar you will be. Okay, so let's see the next question. So question 5. If you can see here, they are asking for the oxide for the chemical bonding. If you are a good chemistry student, you must memorize over this side is all my metals, right? All these are metals. Okay, metals always lose electron. Okay, so they become positive ions, which is my cations. And this side is always my non-metals. Okay, how I memorize is, I will remember our chlorine gas, bromine gas, all this here. And also my oxygen is also here, right? So they ask about the chemical bonding. Okay, so if F here, they are metal and non-metal, very obvious, I already have my answer. They are definitely my ionic bond, right? So another thing is that, my bad. They ask about oxide. They are not asking F and G together, right? So if they ask for oxide of F, means that oxide is always my non-metal, right? And F is my metal, very obvious lah, ionic, right? So if I am asking about oxide of G, since G is already a non-metal, together with oxide, they should be a non-metal again. So answer is a covalent. So that's why your answer should be C. Element X and Y, they will form a compound. So how is it a compound be like? Compound means that I am actually a chemically combined. Chemically combined means that I will gain and lose electron. I told you, right? Electron is something negative. Today, I lose 2 electrons. Yay! Such a happy news. So I become X2 plus. I gain 1 electron. Oh my God. I gain somebody's depression. So I become Y negative. So X2 plus and Y negative, to balance them. What do I mean by balance them? Compound means that chemically combined and they won't have charge anymore. So I need 1 X only and 2 Y. Okay, so basically it's X, Y, 2. Okay, so answer very obvious should be B. Okay, if you still don't understand why is it X, Y, 2, you have to go back to your basic. But I can teach you here. You can say X is positive 2. I need 1 positive 2 combined with my 2 negative 1. I get 0. So it's like doing your mathematics. You want to make all of them to be balanced and without any charge. All of them will turn 0. So my advice, always cross multiply. If today you have X3 plus, Y3 negative, very simple. Both of them also the same charge, you just have to write X and Y. And always remember, at the bottom is ratio, on top is charge. So don't get confused because a lot of students tend to write the small number on top. No, the top part is only my charge. Question 7, electrode. What is electrode? It's under my electrolysis chapter, right? So electrolysis is that I want to conduct electricity because I want to break down our molten and aqueous ionic compound. One more thing, a lot of students don't know, graphite is also carbon. They are the same thing. Don't tell me, oh, what other than graphite, what I can use. Don't write carbon. It's the same thing. Okay, you can also use platinum. They are known as unreactive metal. Okay, so what is the usage of this unreactive metal? They want to conduct electricity. In chemistry, in physics, every time you want to say conduct electricity, conduct electric heat, you must have free moving electrons because protons cannot move, right? So answer is donkey. Okay, mobile means that free moving, and sometimes they will say delocalized, means that they are all moving everywhere. So if you ask me A, B, C, is it correct or not? Yes, they are all correct. But to make sure that this answer is equal, explain well about why they want to use as electrode, D will be the best answer because I want to conduct electricity is the main point. Question 8. This is very simple. Basically, you just have to balance them. Answer should be boy. Okay, if you find it difficult to balance, guys, I teach you. There is 2 oxygen here, right? And this is only 1 oxygen initially if there's haven't balanced it lah. So my style of balancing, always I start with the odd number first, make them into even. Why I need to make them into even? Because this is also even number, right? So if you times 2 here, you should know that you need 4 oxygen, right? So times 2 here. It's very simple. And the best way to do them is like making them right hand side and left hand side. Example, carbon here you have 1, hydrogen here you have 4, oxygen here you have 2 times 2, 4 also, right? So carbon here also 1, oxygen here is 2 plus, sorry, you can write hydrogen first. Hydrogen here is 4, oxygen here is 2 plus 2. Why I want to write 2 plus 2? Because whenever you change anything, you can just erase one of them rather than the whole thing to calculate again. Okay, the next question here, this is a little bit tricky. Every time you see this question about calculation, my style of doing is always writing all the formula I know. Number of moles equals to mass divided by mR. This is for every time you see mass. Number of moles equals to volume of gas dm cubed divided by 24. This is every time you see gas, only gas. If you want to use for liquid, solid, no way, okay? Third one is number of moles equals to concentration times volume. So let's see. If you see the word gram already, definitely is the first formula, okay? Whenever I see this question, the first thing I do is I calculate the number of moles first, okay? But let's read what they want. They want to check for the statement, okay? So very simple, write down all the information you have. My mass of sodium hydrogen carbonate is 2.1 gram. They are heated. But one thing you need to read fully, it doesn't decomposes all. Means that this is not an efficient experiment. So they does not decompose means that there is some in excess. Am I right? So I'm using too much. Okay. So mass is 2.1 gram. Okay. And they will form our carbon dioxide here of 0.21 dm cubed. Okay. I will encourage you to do from the carbon dioxide rather than do a lot of things. Why? Because carbon dioxide here is my product. If I'm able to get 0.21 dm cubed, when I calculate the number of moles, I can use to compare with sodium carbonate here. Okay? Because I see the question answer only asking about sodium carbonate production and also percentage yield of carbon dioxide, right? So let's see here. So if you want to make sure all of them correct, also no problem. But let's see, I start with the carbon dioxide first. So let's see about the carbon dioxide. I want to find the number of moles equals to 0.21 divided by 24. If you press your calculator, you should get 8.75 times 10 power of negative 3 mole, which is very small. If 1 carbon dioxide can make 8.75 times 10 power of negative 3 mole, 1 sodium carbonate, you should also make 8.75 times 10 power of negative 3 mole. You get what I mean? Because it's 1 and 1. But when it comes to 2, you have to times 2. Don't make a mistake. A lot of students were taught that whenever I do number of moles, I have to calculate the 2 in also. No need to times 2. The 2, 1, 3, 4, everything in front is just to let you know the ratio of them needed. So don't need to add them in your calculation, yeah? So this is 8.75 times 10 to the power of negative 3. This is from my carbon dioxide. Okay, it's the same number of moles, right? So I use the first formula to get my mass because I already have my MR. So my number of moles is 8.75 times 10 power of negative 3 is equals to times with my MR because I move here, you get it? Times with 106 equals to my mass. So I should be able to get 0.9 something whenever you calculate it, okay? So your answer should be 0.93 gram. There's quite a lot of decimal points, so you can try and check it out. Okay, then let's see if I want to calculate C and D. Why is it wrong? Let's see. I will use the blue color then. I will use my mass to calculate my NaHCO3, my sodium hydrogen carbonate number of moles. So NaHCO3 number of moles is mass divided by MR. So it's like 2.1 divided by 84. You can straight away divide by 84. You don't have to do any other things. So it's 0.025 mole. When this is 0.025 mole, you should be able to produce also the same number of moles, but because this is 2, so meaning to say 2 NaHCO3, you will get 0.025, right? So 1 CO2, you should divide them by 2. So you will be able to get 0.0125 mole. So when you get 0.0125 mole, a lot of students stunned. What to do next? Just try to get what is the volume supposedly you should get, because this is like the expected value. You were thought that, maybe if I use 2.1 gram, I should be able to get that much. So let's try. Carbon dioxide, number of moles equals to volume divided by 24 dm cubed, right? So 0.0125 times with 24. Okay, so give me 1 second. I try to calculate them. You should be able to get 0.3 dm cubed. Wow. You see, I only get 0.21, which is lesser than my expectation. So if you were to try the efficiency, always the theoretical at the bottom, because you were taught that you will get that much, and experimental on top. Hey, if you cannot memorize this, I teach you. Small value on top, large value at the bottom. So it's like 0.21 divided by 0.3, because that is the small divided by big, right? So 0.21 divided by 0.3, your percentage yield is actually 70%. So it's not 10, not 35%. Okay? And if you really use this 0.025 mole to do this sodium carbonate produce, right, you should get 1.33. Because if you use 0.0125 mole with the like theoretical if they decompose fully this is what you should be able to get. But since they didn't decompose fully, so this is not the answer. Okay, this is kind of long question, but yeah, it's fun doing it. But if you're very good, you don't have to do that detail. You should be able to roughly do it very fast. Okay, electrolysis using carbon electrodes is the most simplest, most typical So you can see here, I want hydrogen and oxygen form at the electrodes. So I will have anode, which is the positive. I will be getting 4 OH minus turned into 2H2O plus O2 plus 4 electron. And cathode, it will be negative turned into H plus 2 electron turned into H2. Okay, let's see one by one. I1 equals copper sulfate, means that I have Cu2 plus SO42 minus equals means that H plus OH minus. Let's see. you will never choose SO4 2- because they are too reactive. Okay, also one more thing, sulfate nitrate, never choose because it's too difficult for you to do. No lah. So you will just choose OH-. Okay, unless you see halogen and concentrated, you will choose them. Okay, copper and hydrogen. Copper is one of the unreactive metal. In our IG level, we learn about silver, copper, silver, gold. These three are unreactive metal. We will always choose them. Okay, we always choose for the unreactive. So this is not the answer because you will be able to form copper here, right? So concentrated hydrochloric acid, I will choose I will have H plus OH-. Every time you see concentrated, it's definitely H plus OH-. Hydrochloric acid, H plus Cl-. There's no way for you to choose others because you only have H plus, right? That's why you only choose hydrogen ions. Chlorine and hydroxide, how do I choose? Whenever you see the word concentrated, definitely you go for halogen already. The word concentrated is only for you to decide to choose halogen. Dilute also the same. You will have H plus OH-. Okay, sodium Na plus, chloride Cl-. I will definitely choose H plus because Na plus too reactive, my friend. They are group 1, right? I never displace them. There's dilute, so I don't have to choose Cl-. Answer should be C. Okay, this one and this one. Molten is the simplest for me. I think that is very easy because for molten, right, they don't have any like hydrogen and hydroxide ions. So you will just choose K plus O2-. So this is very simple. Is one of them you will produce potassium metal and another one you will produce oxygen gas. So let's see the next question. Every time you see copper electrode, one thing I teach my student, your anode and cathode is always about electrode only. Always about copper only. There's nothing else. So A and B is definitely wrong already out of my answer. Okay, so very simple. Anode always undergo oxidation. I want you to remember, A student, I will get something, I will win. I want to get to become a very smart student, so I will lose my electron. I don't want my electron. So lose something, I am actually melting my electrode as well. So my copper is from solid. I actually turn myself into copper 2 plus ion plus 2 electron. This is what happened in my anode because they turn into the ions to swim to my cathode. So my cathode, right, they are gaining electron, so it's kind of like considered as bad thing, but for this one it's kind of good because they form into a copper solid. So for anode you will get a electrode that is dissolving, but for cathode you will get them thicker and thicker. So they ask for cathode, answer should be donkey. So don't get confused, don't choose C. C is for anode. Okay, but if you are using carbon electrode, only thing that will change is in our anode. If you are using carbon electrode, you will just have our H plus, OH minus, Cu2 plus, SO42 minus. So you will choose the 4OH minus rather than SO42 minus, right? So turn into 2 water plus oxygen plus 4 electron. Okay, let's proceed to the next. So sodium carbonate and also ethanoic acid and the temperature falls. This is very simple. Okay, this is a reaction. Temperature fall means that you have reduced in temperature, endothermic. I always memorize endothermic is an ice ball. So they actually lose energy. Lose energy. So they will actually gain energy, but they will decrease in the temperature, right? So they will actually decrease in temperature. So they actually, the changes of the enthalpy is a positive. Why? Let me show you. This is the endothermic. Endothermic is that initially very small, right? So they will keep increase the energy and your reactant is the highest. So the enthalpy change is actually from your reactant all the way to the peak. Don't get confused. Not to the peak, sorry, my bad. It's to the product. So this is the enthalpy change. Then what is the one that to the peak? The activation energy, if you still remember. That one we always talk about whenever we have catalyst. And activation energy is the amount of energy required to start the reaction. So you can see here is that they are increasing the energy. Like your product has more energy than your reactant. That's why you are positive. So let's see the next one. Dilute hydrochloric acid and magnesium. This is a metal. Metal, whenever you react with acid, definitely you will form hydrogen gas and our salt. Every time you see acid, definitely produce salt. So they ask about which reaction is correct. Smaller particles more slowly. No, it's the more faster. Okay, more faster. Why? Because when you are smaller particles, you increase total surface area exposed to the reactants. Okay. Higher temperature, faster the magnesium power disappear. Yes, correct. Because higher temperature, you increase the rate of reaction because you have more collision, right? Lower concentration, faster. No way. Lower concentration, slower. That's the reason why your rate of reaction, whenever it reaches to the end, it becomes lower and lower. Okay, faster the magnesium disappears, the faster the rate of reaction. Yes, because every time they disappear. Why disappear? Because they were dissolved by the acid. Answer should be C. So this is about aqueous X and Y. They are slow and exothermic. Every time you see the word exothermic, not sure if you guys know the exo team. My friend used to tell me they are very hot, right? The group. So I always call them as fireball. They increase in temperature and always form the bond together. So they will lose in their energy, they will lose in energy. So I want you to know, whenever we talk about rate of reaction, for the temperature only, you will cause increased temperature, increased kinetic energy, increased speed. So other than the temperature, nothing will cause them to increase energy. Okay, pressure and the concentration only causes more collision, but you never change in energy, except for activation energy, you will be reduced by our catalyst. Okay, so let's see here. The rate of reaction decrease with time. Definitely decrease with time also is because you can see this gradient is getting smaller and smaller. I mean, like lower and lower. So eventually the reaction will stop. Okay, why initially very high? Because initially you have the most highest concentration of reactant. Okay, so slowly your reactant will react and use up, right? That's why you will stop the reaction. Activation energy decreases never unless you add catalyst. So that's why I told you, if you talk about energy, you never decrease. Speed of molecules X and Y decrease. A lot of people thought that there is something with temperature, that's why it decreased. But no, why? Exothermy is increasing temperature. So supposedly the speed should be increasing rather than decreasing. There's no way that they decrease. If you undergo exothermy, your temperature increases, right? Concentration of both X and Y decrease with time. Yes, because I told you, right? Whenever you go with your reaction, your reactant always decreases, and you form a lot of product. Okay, this is the typical reaction. At the first time, I mean, like initially, before the whole reaction, you have a lot of reactant. Then your reactant decreases, and finally there's no more reactant. Okay, next question here. This is kind of fun. Whenever you talk about why the reaction faster when the pressure is increased. Let's see here, and constant temperature. The molecules here, this is one number of moles. So there's 2 moles on the left side, 2 moles on the right side. So they will not have like forward or backward, right? Because this one also not the equilibrium question, right? So at the higher pressure, the molecules move faster. Oh my god, will the pressure cause them move faster? No, they will only be closer. But what causes to move faster? Unless you say temperature, then yes. At higher pressure, more of the molecules required activation energy. No, whenever you use the catalyst only, you will cause all of them to reach the activation energy. Okay, so at higher pressure, molecules are closer together. Yes, because they are closely packed, right? When you're very stressed up, they are all closely packed. Higher pressure collide more frequently. Yes, because you are closer together, you collide more and more frequently. Let's see the next question. Ammonium sulfate is used as fertilizer. This question is kind of fun because they just want you to know, how do you make ammonia and sulfuric acid? So in our whole syllabus, we only learn about 2 processes. One of them is contact, one of them is Haber. I always memorize contact process. Acid is very dangerous. I cannot touch them. So I will memorize acid is my contact process. So eventually ammonia should be Haber already lah. So Definitely A and D is wrong because the name of the process is wrong, right? So acid and Haber and also contact process, what is important that you need to memorize is about their temperature as well as their pressure and also their catalyst. Temperature is easy because I memorized that both of them share the same 450 Celsius. Okay, acid is more dangerous, so I cannot use a very high pressure. Later it splash until my face, right? I get ugly. So 1 to 2 atmosphere is enough. But you can see the value is like 1 to 100 and 200. 1 to 2, right? Catalyst, I will always memorize our acid needs something very high class. So it's a vanadium 5 oxide. While for Haber, just iron filling. This thing is what you need to memorize, so I can't really help a lot, but just telling you the method of memorizing lah. So answer should be C. Equilibrium, this is very fun. My students get very confused. Let's see. When a reaction has reached equilibrium means that they will have a constant forward and backward and also the constant temperature. Okay, so you can see here, if I have more T is added, you will have more backward reaction. When you have more backward reaction, your PQR will actually increase. Answer is C. Student asks, teacher, why S cannot increase? Because S will react with our T, so your S will reduce. S will never increase. Okay, so for question 18, let's see together. You can see reducing agent. Every time if you see the word reducing agent, you are reducing the others, right? Means that you step on others. When you step on others, you must undergo oxidation yourself. So oxidation is lose electron, gain oxidation number, which is your charge, okay, and gain oxygen. This is very simple. CO, they turn into CO2, they gain, right? Answer is A lah. Okay, because this one they lose, right? This one they lose. For this one, this is not redox because if you realize there's nothing changed here. Okay, so for both of these, they are actually an oxidizing agent. Okay, why? Because they oxidizes their friend. Let's see the next one. For this, I want to produce alkaline gas. For our syllabus, we learn alkaline gas is ammonia and H3 gas. So answer never be B already. Why? Because B is acid with magnesium carbonate. You produce salt, water, carbon dioxide gas. Carbon dioxide gas is acidic. Okay, so this is not the answer. Sodium hydroxide cannot react with our magnesium carbonate, right? So answer should be C, sorry. Because ammonium chloride is NH4 plus Cl minus. 4 plus, the word plus, this is a little bit acidic and this is actually a strong alkaline. So that's why they will produce a weak acid and alkaline gas. Okay, partially dissociate for butanoic acid, very obvious. They are weak acid. So weak acid, pH cannot be acid, right? Acid should be below 7, right? So never be 8 or 10 already. 3 is a very strong acid. And also, trimethylene is between blue and colorless, right? For the acid is colorless. Maybe a bit difficult for you to memorize, but always remember, acid, right, is always red color. I mean, like, I will memorize red. Why? Because litmus paper red, universal indicator is red. But for trimethylene and also phenolphthalein, they will be colorless, which is kind of special. Okay, but for our alkali as well as neutral, they will be pink and this will be blue. Okay, this need to memorize. Yeah, I feel like chemistry a lot of memorizing, my student told. Okay, so copper 2 sulfate. Let's see the next question. For question 21, I have copper 2 sulfate added into the excess. How do I prepare my copper 2 sulfate? Is that I add excess of copper carbonate into my acid. So why? Because copper carbonate is insoluble. So I want to add with our sulfuric acid is because sulfuric acid able to dissolve them. Actually, a lot of students will thought that answer should be A. Actually, no. Answer should be B. Why? I want to ensure all my sulfuric acid has reacted, right? So it's like CuCO3 add with H2SO4. I turn into CuSO4 plus H2O plus CO2. Okay? So I want to fully get my copper sulfate and I still have my excess of UCO3. This is excess. So I want acid to fully reacted. Today, I want to make sure that my water fully dissolve my sugar. Also, I add sugar in excess, right? And when the water unable to dissolve anymore, that is saturated solution already, right? So all the excess is my sugar. So I want my water to fully dissolve so I can get the sweetest water, right? So let's see which one has 2 electron in its outer shell. Very obvious, group 2, right? And they have 3 shells. So this is period 3. So very obvious already. Group 2 is definitely A, B or C. So why is the answer C? Is because this is period 1, period 2, period 3. Period 3, you have 3 shell. Let's see the next one. Group 1 and Group 2 shows the same trend. Which one show how the properties of barium with calcium? Okay, if you look at your periodic table, our barium is below very much to calcium, right? For Group 1 and Group 2, when you go down the group, it is more and more reactive. Why? Because it will be easier for you to lose the electron, right? Because you are more and more further away from your nucleus, right? So yeah, so let's see here. Your answer for 23 should be reaction with water faster. So your density is higher. How come? Because you are heavier. Okay, so what is the answer? That the transition metal have 2 different oxidation state? Every time you see the word transition metal, transition element, means that they have different oxidation state, can be catalyst, and can form colored compound. Okay, so like example, your copper sulfate is like blue solution, right? So yeah, they will form colored compound, not when they are alone. So how do I see this? A bit tricky and fun, I think. So this is Cr2O3. Remember O2 negative, right? So this 3 actually belongs to your Cr. Cr is 3 plus here. So this one SO4 also 2 minus. So this 3 actually belongs to your Cr. Cr 3 plus. So this is the same. This is not the answer. This is O2 negative. So meaning to say your copper here is not copper 2 plus. Why? Because there are only 1 oxygen. So copper plus. If you want to make it easier for you to know, you need 2 copper add with the negative 2 because oxygen, right, is 0. So 2 copper is equals to positive 2. Copper equals to positive 2 divided by 2. Copper is positive 1. Let's see here. Carbonate is CO3 2 minus. So copper add with negative 2 is 0, right? Copper turn into positive 2. Answer should be B. Why? Because this copper is positive 1. Okay, and the next copper is positive 2. Can see? So when this is zinc and sulfate, zinc sulfide, sulfur, right? Sulfur is group 6, so they are S2 negative. So Zn is actually just Zn2 plus. SO4 2 minus, so Zn also 2 plus. Okay, you can use this method. I would think is the best. Brass, this is very simple, right? Answer should be copper and zinc, nothing else. Okay, what is used for aircraft? Every time you see aircraft, definitely aluminium because they are low density. 27, hydrogen gas. What will form hydrogen gas? Okay, for 27, answer should be, let's see. Can calcium and water form hydrogen gas? Yes, they will form calcium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. This is the alkaline solution. Okay, and silver and hydrochloric acid actually must be very careful. Silver, copper, and gold, they are all unreactive metal. They cannot react alone with acid. So 2 is definitely wrong. How I memorized, I think that I like gold a lot as jewelry. So if I wear gold and it's easily dissolved, then when I wear, then no more gold already, right? Magnesium and steam, yes. Actually, steam is water, but in liquid form. So they will also form magnesium hydroxide plus hydrogen gas. Zinc, yes, because zinc is also above our hydrogen. So when you are above hydrogen, you can actually displace your hydrochloric acid. Okay, this is how you memorize because hydrochloric acid here, copper, silver, gold. If they are below hydrochloric acid, they are unable to displace them. Actually, acid means that your metal will displace your hydrogen. Answer should be A. Okay, 28. Carbon is a coke. They have two raw material to form hematite. Hematite is iron. Oh, they already told you. Also, you can memorize hemoglobin, and when you taste your blood, it's a bit like metal smell, right? It's like iron smell. Okay, so what is the reaction of these two during this reaction? Carbon is carbon, calcium carbonate is CaCO3. So all of them will actually undergo, for coke itself, right? They actually for you to remove oxide from iron. So whenever you want to remove oxide means what? You snatch away people oxide leh. Means that you actually undergo oxidation. You are a very good reducing agent. Always remember, carbon and carbon monoxide is a very good reducing agent. That's why it's a redox. For calcium carbonate, they actually break down into calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. So basically, this calcium oxide, right, they will actually help to remove our silicon dioxide. Okay, they will form our slag. This slag is our calcium silicate, which is CaSiO3. They are using calcium oxide to react with our silicon dioxide. This is actually my waste product. I don't need them. So answer should be boy. Combustion produce pollutant gas. Pollutant gas that is not present in our clean air. My clean air don't have so what is my clean air don't have? My clean air don't have nitrogen oxide, right? So my clean air don't have nitrogen oxide. Also, my clean air never have carbon monoxide, right? So answer should be B. Water is what I have, and carbon dioxide is what I have in my clean air, right? So let's see, 1 mole of alkene, why they will produce 72 dm³ of carbon dioxide when burned in excess of oxygen. So they want you to know what is this. Okay, alkene, we know is a CH. I don't know, maybe I put CXHY first. They will produce they will add with oxygen first to produce carbon dioxide and water. When it's actually very simple. 72 dm³. I don't know the number of moles. It's 72 divided by 24, right? Remember, because number of moles equals to volume of gas divided by 24, right? So I get 3 mole. Meaning to say, I actually need 3 carbon dioxide. So your carbon, you need to have 3. So if this is alkane, there should be CnH2n plus 2. So the n is 3, means that CnH2n plus 2, right? So C3H2 times 3, 6 plus 2. So C3H8. So what is the one that start with 3 carbon? Our propane. Okay, propane. Butane is C4H10. Ethane is C2H6. You need to memorize this, yeah? Methane is CH4. So for this one, very simple. Every time you see COO, yay, this is an ester. I memorized that ester is alcoholic father. I don't know, not everyone's father drink alcohol, but you know, father easier to drink alcohol, right? Acidic mom. Mom always nag you, scold you, right? So your naming, you always start with your father, right? Your surname, your last name, you follow your father's name. So alcoholic father means that the alcohol you will choose as the father. Acidic mom, every time you see the word acidic, is the one that we double bond. So I already told you, right? The one with double bond. So this is my acid. Okay, this is my alcohol. So alcohol, I only have 1 carbon. So this is methyl. Okay, your alcohol father will give you the word "il" at the back. Okay, and acidic mom is 2 carbon, so ethanoate. So the word "oate" is what your acidic mom will give you. Answer should be C. Okay, so 33. What is the word addition? Addition means that only produce 1 product. So when propene reacted with bromine, you don't know what is your answer, right? But it's okay, we draw it out. Okay, propene, 3 carbon. Anywhere you want to put, actually only 2 places, because You can actually put in front or at the back. It doesn't matter because propene means that 3 carbon, right? So as long as you put left or right, it's the same. Okay, so whenever you react with bromine, you will open up these 2 double bond to become Br here and Br here. So how do I name them? This will be 1, 2, and 3. So CH2Br, CHBr, CH3. So answer should be, why not this? Because if you draw them out, it's like CH and your Br and Br is the same. Never, because one of them, each carbon take 1, right? So it's not C. And for this one, Br2 also not D, because this is like in the middle, the Br here and here, never, right? And for this one is acceptable, but let's see, is it correct? Oh no, this is the first and the third, so no, answer should be A. Very obvious, right? It's actually the same as my drawing, but the Br is at the back, so it means that it's here and here. But it doesn't matter, it's like where do you draw them first, from the starting and the ending. Okay, ethanol is produced by fermentation and also by catalyzed by addition reaction, means that involving our steam lah, because ethanol, right, is actually add on with the OH only, right, by our ethene. So yeah, you can use fermentation like your grandmother, or like the wine. Actually, they use fermentation, am I right? So answer, fermentation is good because the reactant used is renewable, which is like our sugar cane and all the glucose and thing, right? While for steam is very nice because it's very easy. They are continuous process. So answer should be A. Okay, why is the answer not B? Because this one need a lot lah, my friend, because steam is a very hot temperature, right? And fermentation very slow. You see, they always say that I want to drink latte. what year? So it's a very, very long process, right? And this is continuous, right? And actually this one need a lot of energy, and this is a slow reaction. So this one also need to memorize. Maybe you can read through your organic chemistry again if you are not really good at this. So for this one, carboxylic acid, they will react with alcohol when they warm with acid catalyst. So carboxylic acid, they react with alcohol. Remember just now? Alcoholic father, acidic mom, you form ester. Very simple. They want nylon. Whenever nylon, right, they are actually a kind of polyamide. Okay, what is polyamide now? It's actually diamide add with dicarboxylic acid. Okay, so I want you to know is that how do I recognize them? I will cut this off and open and see. Means that each bond, the side and side is one family. I mean one compound, my bad. So one compound. Can you see? This is the same compound definitely, and this will be the same compound as this one. So this is almost the same, right? Because I told you nylon, you will see the bonding of CONH. But why this is not the answer? If you can see, this is acid, this is amide. This is actually protein. Your bio teacher should teach you amino acid. They actually made from amide and acid as one compound. But for this, let's see. You never has the linkage of NH and NH lah, so I don't want to waste your time. CONH also no. I only have CONH here. I mean COONH, there's no way. So answer should be C, because if you try to bond them, can see or not? This is dicarboxylic acid, diamide, dicarboxylic acid, diamide. Very simple. Question 36. Which structure represent the repeat unit from build 1 in? Build 4 carbon, right? So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Double bond, maybe I put here. Up to you where you want to put. H, H, H. And this is H, 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 H. How do I like bend them downwards? Actually, this one, you can put them downward here. Meaning to say you will form carbon double bond, and this will be C2H5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, right? And this is H, H, H. So basically, answer should be A lah. I already bend it down for you to see, right? And if you bend it down, they actually open up, link with others for this one, and this is N. Why? Because the double bond will react with others, right? That's why you open them up. So let's see here, 2 grams of calcium carbonate added to 50 cm3 hydrochloric acid. Which one need to measure the quantities of calcium carbonate and hydrochloric acid. Very obvious. Mass. How can you use pipette for mass? No way, right? And for hydrochloric acid, you can't measure with thermometer, right? Wow, this is like 3 marks. Question answer A. This is chromatogram. I want to know how many different red dyes are present in a sweet. Okay, in the sweets, like so many sweets, right? I want the different red dyes, you know. This is the same because they are the same level. So this is 1 and 2. As long as you are the same level, you are the same red dye used. Okay, so don't thought that 1, 2, 3, 4. No, as long as you are the same level, you are the same element, same substance. Answer is 2. So if I ask you how many same different yellow dye, there's no only one yellow dye. It's the same yellow dye used. Okay, and if you have other color here, maybe like green, they will be here, right? And maybe like blue, they will be higher. Yeah. So that's how you show about different element. Make sure that sand and aqueous sodium chloride means that this is actually well dissolved, but this is a mixture, right? So to remove our sand, you can just use filtration to remove them first. Okay, so your answer, very simple, filtration already. Why crystallization? Because you want to remove dissolved solute in a solution. You want to get the dissolved solute, not the solvent. I want to get the solid. I memorize as SOL. SOL. Okay? Last. Compound M. As long as you see flame, the thing that will form you lilac flame, okay, is definitely your potassium already. Okay? Potassium. So, they will turn lime water cloudy. As long as you see lime water cloudy, what is produced? Carbon dioxide. Answer should be donkey. That's all from Jamie. See you guys in my next video. Let me know if you need help.